This is a 2013 BMW 550i that I purchased from Copart for only $4,000, and there is a really good reason for that. The engine is completely dead. It's a 4.4 V8 twin turbo called N63, and they do have some issues. The timing chain is one of them, so I'm assuming in this situation the timing chain broke and something bad happened. We don't know anything about it yet, but we will pull it inside and start taking it apart. And to do that, I'm using my other car. I'm pulling it uphill a little bit, but then I'm hoping that it will just go downhill easily and into the garage. As you can see, it didn't go that easy, but we finally managed to get it inside. There are some scratches like this, but I think this will polish out. And scratches, they're a little bit deeper. We'll see what we can do about that. Good polish, this would look really good. On the interior, this looks good. It's dirty, but not terrible. I've seen a lot worse than this. This is okay. The only concern I have is with this smudge, the purple, blue, whatever smudge here. I don't know what this is. It looks like some type of paint, but hopefully it will come out. This is called service position, so you can work without hitting your head on these. Now this engine needs to come out all together. I don't want to try and fix it on the car. I want to take it out and fully rebuild it, just touch every bolt and make sure everything works. As you can see, there's some stuff missing like this here, and this, it's different. There's clear signs that this was worked on and then just put together really fast. So I'm expecting really bad damage on this engine. We might have to buy a new engine. We'll see. But it's a complete engine, so we'll take it apart, see what the damage is, and we'll take it from there. If we need to buy a second engine, then I'll find an option, but I still want to rebuild this engine because it has 50,000 miles on it. Something went really bad, but the other parts on it, they're not really bad since only 50,000 miles. So if I can, I want to rebuild this one. We'll see. Now I'm gonna have to disconnect all the hoses, all the pipes, everything that is connected to the chassis from the top portion, and then lift it up on the jacks and disconnect the subframe. I think I need to take the subframe out, and then I should be able to take it out. But the subframe might be okay to stay in if I can reach all the bolts. Hopefully we can, and I don't have to remove the subframe, because that in itself is a little bit of a job when you're crawling on the floor. Yeah, let's start. I'm starting by lifting the car up in the air just to give me ease of access in the engine bay. I will start from the top and then under the car, but having the car up in the air, it's a lot easier to work on. I'm starting by removing the plastic covers on the side. They're not really necessary to remove, but I like to have access to everything, all the bolts, and I don't think that they're hiding anything important for the removal of the engine, but it's best to do it so that you're not damaging those beauty covers, as they call them. While I'm removing these engine parts, I like to take some pictures when I know it's going to be complicated to put back together, and this way I make sure that I can go back and see how they were. I'm removing the coolant reservoir and the secondary coolant reservoir as well. I'm removing the intercoolers first. They will create a lot of space between the engine and the radiator. Both throttle bodies need to come out. It's probably okay to leave them in, but I don't want to damage them, so it's just 4 bolts, easy to take out, so why not? The fan shroud can easily come out as well, so that will give me even more space when the engine needs to be pulled. I'm trying to manage these hoses as best as I can. I don't want to remove unnecessary parts. It's gonna make it a lot easier to put all of it back together if they're connected to one end. Some of them do need to be disconnected all the way, but some of them can stay connected to the car. So this way, when you put the engine back in, you kind of see where they are supposed to connect to. Because of their length and their curvature, you would kind of anticipate where it will go. It's a lot easier to put it back together. Aircon lines are gonna stay on the chassis. The wiring, all of that. The ECU, everything looks like it's ready. It's still connected to the engine mounts and the gearbox, but that's probably what I need to do next. They don't need to be snagged, so they need to come this way. Under the car, I'm starting by removing the heat shield so that I can access the gearbox wire harness that needs to be disconnected because it's connected. It doesn't have a connection on the engine side, so it will have to come out with the engine wire harness. I'm trying to disconnect the torque converter from the engine side by turning the engine little by little and reaching those bolts through the access hatch, but unfortunately the engine doesn't turn all the way, so I can only reach 2 bolts, and that's not enough. And so I moved to removing the bell housing bolts. This way I can remove the engine with the torque converter. It's a little bit more difficult that way, but this is the only option I have right now. When you're pulling the engine, just make sure you're doing it slowly because you have to check everything around. Here I'm checking all the wires that might be trapped, the hoses that are still connected, and trying to look under the engine as well while it comes up to see if I forgot something. And in this case I did forget some things, and I was able to disconnect them without breaking anything. And finally the engine was completely clear, and I could just lift it on top of the front bumper and move it out of the way. This engine bay needs a really good clean. This is a very happy moment for me because I can access everything around the engine now. I can take it apart and find out exactly what went wrong. And I'm assuming this engine has problems with the timing chain, because you can hear when you try to turn it, you can hear the chain getting caught up, and it's probably broken or something like that. We got the engine out and it's on the stand. Now it's time for us to take all of the wiring out. The turbochargers need to come out, the exhaust manifold needs to come out, all of the belts need to be disconnected on this side, the AC compressor needs to come out. Basically we're gonna need to end up with just a bare block. The head will come out. Well, you know, the oil pan has to come out, basically completely disassemble this engine, but we have to do it in a way that we can remember to put it all back. So there is a method that I'm using every time I do something like this. I mean, I've only done it once, this is the second time, but I did some research. I know a little bit about what to expect here, but we'll learn together. My way of making sure that I know the order of all the parts is to arrange them off the engine in a particular order. Like if I take one part out, I'll put it starting from left to right on the rack behind there. So I will know which part comes next when it comes to put it back onto the engine. So it's like the exact reverse of what I'm doing when I'm taking it all apart. So it makes it easier. You store the actual part with its bolts. So that's what I've been doing, and it turns out to be really effective. Some people like to bag them, tag them, but I think that's just a waste of time. I'm starting to remove the wire harness, and don't worry about the plugs not going back to where they belong, because the wires are at a particular length and they can't be mixed and they can't go in a different order. And just to make sure, just take some photos if you're gonna do something like this. After the turbos and the exhaust manifolds are removed, there are two heat shields that need to be removed, and then you can see if this car had a lot of oil leaks coming from the turbo pipes or if it was an actual rear main seal leak. And in this case, as you can probably see, it was a huge leak. They do have a drain hole in the back, so if you have oil leaks coming from between the gearbox and the engine, you naturally would think that that's a rear main seal leak. But in this case, with this engine, because the turbos are inside of the hot V, their oil leaks are collecting inside of the V and then drain through a hole on the back of the engine. So it looks like a rear main seal, but in fact it's just oil from the turbos. I don't have a special puller for the injectors, but we might be able to pull them out without the special puller. We'll see. And you usually use like a slide hammer, you just thread it here and slide it out, but I don't have that, so we'll have to be creative about that. There's obviously some like broken bolts in there, like it's proof that somebody worked on it before. I found a way. Apparently it's not bad to buy the actual puller, but I found a nut that fits and this L-shape bracket from the engine lift, so I can bolt this to the injector and then I can put this crowbar through and use the hammer to hammer on the crowbar. Not the most effective, but it works. Do the job. Simulating the slide hammer. It works. It's not pretty, but it works. Okay. That's promising. I don't see very much build-up. I mean, just the regular, which is good. Their mirror finish. Okay, now there's two O-rings here for the solenoids. Mirror shine. And then you just see it. Boop. What happened there? One of the rocker arms is not in its place. Is this rocker damaged as well? Doesn't look bad. We have the timing gears removed, the chain tensioner removed, and we can go ahead and remove the head, which means there's the main head bolts, and also I see only two smaller aluminum ones in the front. Check out the carnage. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think that makes the whole block unusable. So we definitely need a new block. Oh, and there's some damage on this cylinder too. That's a shame. Both sides heads are off, and on this side, as you can tell, everything looks very good. But still, there's no use for this engine block anymore with this type of damage in here. I mean, probably there are options to sleeve the engine, but I don't want to do that. I want to find a good block. Believe it or not, I don't know if you can see, that cylinder is also cracked down the middle, so the impact was quite violent. But, you know, it would make for a really nice coffee table. That's the good side, right? I was expecting the engine to be really bad, so this doesn't come as a surprise. It's just interesting how this happened at a 50,000 miles engine and serviced at BMW. Look at that. I tried to eat its timing chain guides. Of course, timing chain guides everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. Now, I'm happy to say that I found a second engine. It is seized, but I think we can save the block from that one. Now, in order to bring that one inside and start working on that, we need to clear the area and make sure that I don't mix the parts from one engine to the other. On this block, I didn't take any more parts off. The crank, the pistons are still in there, even the oil pump is still in there. I'm gonna leave this as is. We'll move it to the side and see what the other engine looks like, and if we can use some of the parts from this engine, we will. I was able to move it close to the wall, so that means that it will clear. The crane just cleared through, but we'll see if I can pull the engine or I need to bring the car more inside. But just so you have a quick look, the X3 did an amazing job hauling this, and it fits quite well. I think you could fit even more. You could fit two of them at the same time if you want to. We have the donor engine on the stand. As you can tell, it's not in great shape, but I'm happy to try. This was not an expensive engine. This was basically scrap metal, and I'm happy with it so far. We'll see inside if everything looks good. It does have some oil leaks, but I understood that this engine has a lot more miles and it's quite normal. Okay, here we go again. This engine comes from an BMW X5 2013, and this is a seized engine. Now, if the problem is with the crankshaft, then the block should be good. And I've met this amazing guy, Alex. He just takes apart BMWs and broken BMWs and sells the parts off of them. They don't want to deal with the engine parts, so they just scrap them in this condition, right? This is To me, this is amazing because if the block is good, then I will have saved a lot of money. I just have to take it apart and see what the condition of the block is. So this might work just fine. As long as I'm rebuilding the whole engine and I'm touching every single bolt, then I don't see a problem with this engine lasting for a long time. By the time I finish with this car, I'll know these engines in and out really well, and I'm happy about that. I really wanted to learn about this car, and now I have a second engine to take apart, so it's even better because now I reinforced what I learned in the first attempt. And hopefully this will make it a lot easier to put everything back together. If the engine was maintained well, then the block should be completely fine. The other parts that wear might not be fine, but we have spare parts from the other engine, so I think we're good to go. Let's take it apart. It is a little bit more wear. You can kind of see some marks, but it's not terrible. The only problem with these shafts are that some of the lobes are a little bit rusty. I think this engine was left outside, uncovered and open, so some of the water got in and did that, but they might still be usable, they might still clean, because just by rubbing my finger I can kind of get rid of some of it. But I'm not gonna use these, that's for sure. I'm gonna use the other ones because they're a lot better. And on this side as well, doesn't look bad, but there are a few lobes that are rusted. On this one, it looks like this guide, it's almost almost in one piece. This one is definitely completely missing like on the other engine, so it must be in the oil pan. But not bad so far. Nothing scary, just the camshafts are a little bit damaged, but we have good camshafts from the other engine. So let's continue. Look at that. There's quite a few bolts. I was quite lucky on that one. The chain got stuck and the head did not hit the floor. But next time I will flip the engine with every head pointing up when I pry it like this so that it doesn't fall. You know what? It looks like it might not be usable after all. But that's on the first glance. Look at that. That's a lot of rust. But what I've found out is that these engines, they're alu seal, so this rust should clear off quite easily and there should be no damage. Look at that. What is that? Normally an engine block left like this would not be good, would not be usable. But we might be able to save this block. It doesn't have big damage. Of course, it will take a lot of cleaning, but it might still work.
I'll leave this open so you don't asphyxiate.
Yes, leave it open. we got all the pistons out, and like suspected, look at that. This journal is good, this one good, this one good, and look at that. That's the cause of this engine being seized. Now, this is unsavable. This crank is completely gone. Now, it does look dirty in there, still, but I'll clean it up and it would be fine. I don't see any major wear, it's just dirt, really dirty. But let's clean them up a little bit and confirm if it's good or bad. Look at that. That's a big ass bolt. So just to explain really quickly, the crane holds the weight of the engine so this doesn't snap, first. Second, there are two bolts into the crankshaft that with this you hold the crankshaft so it doesn't spin. And then with the strap, I grabbed it from that side so that the engine can't spin. The block cannot spin this way because this strap holds it. And then this leg was moving out, so I had to go with the strap that way so that it holds it in place this way. So now when you twist, it's all kind of held together. And this is the sort of thing you have to come up with in order to compensate for some of the tools or for, let's say, a body. I think this bit could be part of those videos where it shows why men live shorter lives than women. I don't know. I don't know about you, but I'm really happy with the result here. This looks like a new engine block, and I think we can work with this. I'm sure some of you doubted it when they saw the heads coming off with all of that mess inside, but since this is made of aluminium, it should not rust. It does have a little bit of stains on the surface of the cylinders, but it's just some stains. If this engine runs for a couple of days, the cylinders would look perfect inside. So I'm really happy, and I will definitely use this block. And we just need to go ahead and sort out the other parts and decide what we're gonna use from the old engine and from the new engine. They are soaking in some gas here. We need to clean them up. I have all 16 on the table. This way I get to choose 8 good ones. I remove all their piston rings and clean the piston ring channels. Then the piston needs to be properly cleaned, remove all of that carbon, and then we can reuse these pistons. This is how the block looks, the crankshaft, and look at the pistons. They are pretty much like new. The heads need to be cleaned, and we will take them apart so that we can clean everything inside. There are lots of carbon deposits in there, so I want them to be as good as they can be. Normally you send the heads to a machine shop, they clean them, they surface them, and then you can reassemble it and pretty much consider them as new. But I wanted to do this myself because I want to learn all the process. Maybe for the next project I will go ahead and use a machine shop, but for now I'm gonna take everything that I can apart and clean it as good as I can. With the help of the spring compressor, I'm removing the springs and the valves. This is how the head looks without the valves, and it's dirty, it needs to be cleaned. It takes a while to clean all of this deposits, but I'm willing to use that time and take care of this part. Now the valves, they look really bad, but they're not as bad once they get cleaned. You will see that in a bit. But just have a quick look at these. They're like completely full of stuff. I don't even know what to call this stuff, but it's deposits for a long time. And I'm guessing that the valve stem seals were leaking, and so this is how everything got in this condition. Here you can see the heads without the valves. They're definitely in desperate need for cleaning. There's a lot of carbon deposits in those valve holes. Here I'm using a soft sanding pad to clean the surface. It doesn't take any of the metal off, it just cleans the surface really well. And I have to go into the channels and clean all of that carbon deposit. As you can see, there's a lot coming out. There are some special tools you can use, but I couldn't wait for them to arrive, and so I've found a way. I used one of those soft pads and wrapped it around a drill, and I was just cleaning the insides as best as possible. They won't come out perfect, but they will be a lot better than what they were. this is how I cleaned the valves. I used a drill and soft pad and just, you know, some sandpaper where the deposits were too difficult to remove. And as you can see, the valves look pretty much like new. There probably are better ways of doing this, but this is my way of dealing with this problem. Now is a big difference. I'm sure you can agree that they are definitely good to reuse. This process took a long time, but I think it's worth it because this way you get to learn everything there is to learn about this process. And if you're sending the heads to refurbishment somewhere, you know exactly what you're paying for. Since you've already done it yourself once, now you can make a decision into if it's worth doing to a machine shop or you can do it yourself. Now look at those valves. They look amazing, don't they? They pretty much are like new. I'm using compound paste to smooth out the connection between the valve and the valve seat. This is probably the most satisfying part of the whole cleaning process. I'm using some tape to hold the valves in place until I get the springs and the retainers back on. Now it's time to replace the valve stem seals, and in order to make sure they go in one piece, it's good to soak them in some oil, and this way they slide on the valve stem quite easily and without any damage. Here I'm using a spark plug socket to push them all the way down where they need to sit. It's probably the easiest way to get them to their position. Now the valve spring have to go back on, and of course the valve retainers. If you don't have one of these tools, the spring compressor tool, it's quite cheap to buy one online. There are different ones you can buy, but it doesn't really matter if it's high end or not. It just pushes the spring down and it helps you to replace those retainers. Now before I'm installing the camshafts back on, I'm using a little bit of oil just to make sure they're lubricated for the few turns that I'm gonna do for the timing of the engine. I'm really happy with the result. Now you can see the before and after, and it is a huge difference, don't you agree? Now the second head has to go through the same process, but with the magic of editing, you won't have to go through all of that again. Now here we have the engine block. I've added a piston in there just for the looks, but the crankshaft is ready to use, the pistons are ready to use, the main caps are ready to use, bearings are there. Now both heads are cleaned as well and reassembled, and we also have all the gaskets we need to reassemble this engine. So let's take all of these parts that you can see here on the table and put them all back together. We are starting with the main bearings. They need to be properly aligned and pushed into position. I'm also using assembly lube, and then I can drop the crankshaft in. Make sure that it spins easily. Then the caps come on. These caps are a little bit different. They have 3 bolts on each side, so basically 6 bolts per cap. And there is a little bit of a difference in the process of tightening them down, but it's not that difficult. You basically start with the big bolts and you have to torque them, and then you go with the second row of bolts and those need to be torqued. And the third row of bolts, they have a sleeve, and that sleeve needs to be pushed in until it touches the block, and then those bolts can be installed and torqued to spec. Now I haven't added the torque sequence or the torque specs into the video because I'm doing this for the first time. I don't know if I'm doing it right, so I don't want anybody to follow me by letter. I just want you to Google your information and make sure you're following either a repair manual or the best sources you can find. It's really up to everybody how you're going on about this process, but if you're here just to see how the puzzle comes back together, I'm sure you're not interested in all of that small details. Of course, these bolts, they do need to be torqued to spec, otherwise the engine would not be happy at all. Now the crankshaft is in its position, it's torqued to spec, and it turns quite smoothly. That's exactly what you want. We are moving to the installation of the pistons, and I'm using a piston ring compressor to hold the rings in place while the piston goes back into its cylinder. Since this is a V8, 2 rods connect to the same journal. And before you torque the connecting rod cap, you should have both connected to the journal. This way they can't move side to side when you're torquing to spec. After all the pistons are installed, I'm turning the engine just to make sure it's still turning smoothly and make sure that there is no play, no weird noises coming out of it. And I'm moving to the installation of the oil pump. Now the oil pump has 3 bolts to connect to the block, and again you have to use the repair manual to see the actual tension that you need to place on this chain. Keep in mind the sprocket bolt has a reverse thread, so make sure you're not stripping that one. Now before the heads are going on, let's enjoy the piston dance for a second. This engine has 2 timing chains and both of them have 2 guides. You have to check the repair manual to see exactly how they go, but it's quite easy to understand. The timing cover, I can only suggest this, but some people would say it's not necessary. I'm using some sealant because these engines are known for leaking oil and I don't trust just a metal gasket, and so sealant it is on both sides of the gasket to make sure that we are minimizing all the oil leaks that this engine could develop. When I'm installing the bolts, because they're different lengths, I like to install them with the cover off, so this way I can see how much they come out on the other side, just to make sure that they are in their right position. Now we are moving to the oil pan gasket, and even though the gasket is new, I'm still using sealant for the same reason. I really don't want this engine to have any oil leaks, and so I'm using a thin layer of sealant on each side of the gasket. Make sure you're not using too much, because once the gasket is squeezed, that sealant could come out and detach and come into the oil pickup tube and lock or restrict the oil flow to the oil pump. Now for the head gasket, make sure you don't use any sealant. You actually have to clean both surfaces really well, and that should be enough because of the amount of force that the head bolts are going to apply. It's not going to be necessary to have any additional sealant like that. The head bolts need to be tightened in a pattern from inside out, as recommended by repair manual for this engine. And not only for this engine, but every time you're doing a head gasket, you have to do it from inside out, just to make sure that the head doesn't get distorted. Now with the heads both installed and torqued to spec, we are moving to the camshaft sprockets. They both have a way of being tightened, but for the beginning you just have to put them in and don't tighten them at all. Just get the chain on, and after the timing tool is installed, the bolts can be properly torqued to spec. They need a little bit of a clean before we install them. And here's a before and after shot. With the timing tensioner covers, I used a little bit of silicone as well, just to make sure they're not leaking. The high pressure fuel pumps are installed and torqued. Now with the fuel rail, it's easier to just connect the pipes and then align it for the support bracket where the bolts connect to the head. We're moving into the valley pan. We are installing the vacuum canister first, and then we are moving to the oil feed pipes for the turbos. Now when you install the feed pipes, it has a few crush washers that need to be replaced, and we are moving on to the exhaust manifolds. Now here we used new gaskets and we torqued the bolts to spec. Intake manifold is cleaned and ready to install. As you can see, the fuel rail was in the way, and so it needed to be removed, and the intake can go on and the fuel rail after. Even though I kept that order really well, I still ended up installing these parts in the wrong order. But it's not a problem, not a big deal. We can just remove them really quick, install the intake, and then go ahead and reinstall the fuel rail. On this side, as it turns out, it's not the correct order either, because there is another part that needs to go before both of these two parts, before the intake and before the fuel rail, and so it's gonna come out one more time. Starter is next, but the problem with that is the cable needed to go under the intake manifold, so that means intake manifold out again, fuel rail out again, starter first, then intake manifold, and then fuel rail on this side. Well, you know, you live and learn. This is where you can see the lack of experience, but the only way to get experience is to do this a few times, and so I'm gaining experience right now. The AC compressor needs a little bit of a clean, and it can go in. It's just held in place by a few bolts. Now the wire harness is probably the most frightening part of this whole reassembly process, because there are so many wires and it's so scary because you don't know where they're supposed to go, right? But the wires they have a particular length, and if you try them out they won't connect to something else, and the plugs should be different. Where the plugs are the same, the length differs so that you won't connect them in a different position. And so I started from one end and connected everything I could, and then moved to the second head and connected there where I could, and left the rest of them unconnected, because once you get more parts on the engine, then you can see where they do connect. Now the turbocharger has to go in, but not before my girlfriend comes and give me a little bit of a instruction on how to do this. She's much more experienced than me, and she just points out a few things, like, you know, what I did good and what I did wrong. She's inspecting the process, and then I can continue along with this reassembly. I've also connected the water pump and some of the hoses, the belt back on, and now we have to go and connect the intercoolers. This is a lot easier to do with the engine out. You don't have much space once the engine is on the car, but apparently you can install the engine with the intercoolers on, and it's not gonna create too much problem. These catalytic converters were purchased secondhand. I hope they're good to go. They don't seem bad in any way, but I don't know. We'll see once the engine is running if we get any codes from these. Also, the O2 sensors need to be connected. There is a special tool for the O2 sensors which I don't have, but I'm just gonna tighten them as I can, and I will do that once the tool arrives, because I already ordered one. Now this is how the engine looks completely reassembled. I'm really happy with the progress. As you can see, there is a lot more things on it than it was before. We still left the spark plugs out so that when we turn the engine for the first time, it doesn't start. We want to build oil pressure everywhere, and then we can start the engine. The engine bay needs to be cleaned, so the car needs to be dragged out. As you can see, I attached a strap to hold the gearbox in place. This way I can drag the car out and clean the engine bay. It is really dirty, and a good clean is a must in this case. Today I didn't struggle very much pulling the car out because my girl was here to help me with that, and so I was just steering the car and she was driving the X3. So now we are gonna foam all of this, and hopefully it's gonna look a lot better than it did before. Here we have a before and after shot. I say that this came out a lot better than I was expecting it to be, but it's unfortunate that this won't be visible once the engine is in, but I will feel a lot better knowing that this has been done. So it's time for the car to go back in and we can start the installation of the engine. Now, we were both dreaming about driving it, even though the engine was in front of us, not in the engine bay, but it feels like we are getting closer and closer to driving it. There are like a lot more parts on it, like compared to what I had when I took it out. Like the catalytic converters were not even there, so that made it probably easier to remove. Then the intercoolers, the throttle bodies were taken out, but doing some more research online, I saw people do take the engine complete like this out and they put it back in like this, and it should not affect very much. Plus, you needed to move it like this out of the gearbox to move it forward, so then you can pull it out because of the torque converter. But now, since the converter goes in to the gearbox, then it's just like probably like this much movement you need in order to reassemble the two together. So I think we're okay with all of this assembled as I did, and it's much easier to assemble everything when it's on the stand compared to when it's in the car. Now, the engine bay got cleaned, it's prepped and ready for the engine. At this point, there isn't much that needs to be connected back, like the main harness and stuff like this, but the AC lines, not very much, because most of the parts are already on the engine, and this makes it seem a lot easier than what I did in the past with another engine, because I only done this one more time with a 4-cylinder engine. And so to be able to do this was a big challenge for me. It's a complicated mess with the wiring and the hoses. As you can probably tell, this was not easy to put back together. But I'm confident that I got it back where it needs to be, and I really hope that this engine is going to run, and it's going to run very well. It's Frankensteined together out of two bad engines, and I'm hoping that I can inspire others to do the same instead of throwing parts away and buy other parts. Like, why would you do that when you can like salvage parts from broken engines? People just throw them away because they think they're no good, but in this case, that broken engine might have saved me a lot of money. So we don't know, but I am like really confident that this is gonna work, and the way that everything went together makes me feel that confident. Now we'll see. We will have to drop it in and turn the key on it, and then we'll talk about if this actually saved me money or not. Just to show you how close everything is, like, look at that, like that's how close that goes, and this throttle body as well, like that, and everything is completely to the limit, and then just a little bit of space. Now since the engine is connected to the gearbox, I can go ahead and turn the engine and connect the torque converter to the flywheel. We have to connect all the connectors. I'm bringing in the ECU, connect all those wires in there, make sure the cover is back on so the water doesn't get in, and of course the rest of the parts need to be connected, and then we can put some oil in and go ahead and turn the key. Since now the oil pressure has built up, we can go ahead and install the spark plugs, and we can connect the fuse for the fuel pump, and we can go ahead and try to start it. And yes, the engine runs. It doesn't run very well, but that's expected. Let's connect the OBD reader and let's see what this engine is complaining about. As you can see here, there's a lot of error codes, but these are just because everything was disconnected. We are clearing all of that, and now we can actually see what stays. The first error is charge pressure control switch off, and as it turns out, that's something that I will sort out later. I've switched one of the connectors, just one out of all of those connectors got switched, and once I plug that into the right spot, everything is good on that. But it's still misfiring, and we will deal with that later. For now, as you can see here, I tried to drive it, but that's as far as I was able to get, just a little bit out of the garage, and yeah, there was a big problem. The oil is pouring out really fast. Like that's a big puddle already. Yeah, so that it's a big fail. That's just not good, but like, what did you expect? You can see the car is outside, so that means it did start and it did run. Well, that's pretty much the end of the good news. It didn't run very well, but I'm assuming because the engine was completely out of oil, it needed time to get oil into all the little things like camshaft actuators. I'm thinking that could get better. It's okay, but we failed. We failed big time. There is a huge oil leak coming from between the gearbox and the engine, and that can only mean one thing. The rear main seal, it's not good. It's a new main seal, but either I installed it wrong or the seal was bad from the factory. So, long story short, the engine needs to come back out in order to change that seal, or to even confirm that that's the source of oil. And it's not just dripping, it's like pouring out. So, first attempt failed, but I was thinking all last night before I went to sleep that it's such a big job, and since I haven't done it before, this particular engine is completely new to me. I'm only learning right now. It's unrealistic to think that this would have worked in the first attempt completely perfect. Now there is a small victory. The engine is running, which means it can be fixed from this point on. It does have to come out again, but I don't know. I think it's a one step forward and a few steps back, but we are moving into the right direction, I think. Yesterday I took the car out for a little bit. I tried to go for a little drive, but then I saw the oil drip that was left behind, which I cleaned, and you can kind of see on the grass there with the water, it makes it a lot more visible. But yeah, there is a big oil leak, so I can't even go further in testing it, because I mean the water makes it look a lot worse than it is, but it is pretty much undrivable with this condition. We have to find a way to fix that oil leak. So let's just get the car back inside and try again. There's nothing left to do at this point but try again. Yeah, some people might say it's not good, it's bad, you're failing, you should not even. Well, that's how you learn. You fail until you actually learn enough so you don't fail anymore. And since this all is new to me, I think I'm okay with that. But the engine needs to come out. So let's do that.
Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day.
I found both of the seals that I had on the engines that I took apart. So this is the one that came off the car, and this is the one that came off the donor car. And if you look closely, you can see this is BMW stamp. It's been damaged a little bit, but it's showing as being original, made in Austria. And the gasket is like this, exactly the same as the one that I installed, which is rubbish. This is just some stupid plastic that, look, it's just like, this is not gonna hold. And I'm guessing that's exactly what happened in there. It looks exactly like this. And on the other engine, again, you can tell BMW original part. And I think this is made in Hungary, which is okay. They do this a lot in Europe. But look at the seal. Rubber. Actual rubber. Plus it has a spring that keeps tension on the actual crankshaft. Right? This is a lot better. And I am assuming that somebody tried to fix this engine and they changed this part, because actually I don't know. It says 19 here, but it says 02 here. It can't be from 02, that's for sure, but it's 2019, so that means that this part was replaced at some point. The fabrication of it was 2019, so since this car was serviced at BMW, they went in there and they used a proper seal. And it's, as you can tell, it's pretty much like new, and it's very rubbery. It's not dry, it's nothing bad with it. So since it's gonna take forever to deliver a new seal, I'm gonna try and remove the one that I placed on the engine and replace it with this one, because the one that I used, it's like this. I'm guessing this is their first style, and then when they fixed the issues with this engine, with the TU, then they came up with this. And since this car was serviced at BMW, then they actually used the updated version of the part. But somehow, when I ordered parts, I ended up with another piece of shit like this. So now I have to remove the engine in order to change it, or remove the gearbox, but in this case it's easier for me to just remove the engine. Okay, we got it out. It's a good thing that now I know how to do it, and it only took me like 3.5, 4 hours to disconnect everything and have it up in the air. Now, I don't know, there's not much you can see, but this is full of oil. Covered in oil, and yeah, the main seal is completely failed. Yeah, that's no good. Definitely no good.
Cute.
Hmm?
Gloves on. Actual suit on. You think it's so cute?
Baby, this is like, I'm serious. I need to get this freaking thing sorted.
I
Like-
am serious, baby.
It's like splashed oil everywhere. But now I can clearly see
The problem.
the problem.
So
I
when you
can
put it
see.
in, did it, like, how could it break? You know, like how could that seal?
Pressure. Oil
But
pressure.
once it was sealed up together and the oil pressure started pushing, it couldn't
Yeah.
handle the pressure. It folded.
And this is a new gasket. Chill. Piece of shit.
And we all got dreams, we all want things. But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe you can do anything? But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? Let's go! Hey! Yeah, this is my life, my strife, my right to fight, to die on. And this is my game to play, to claim a brand new name, oh. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm a bit nervous that I might screw everything up that I've ever done. But what's the point of living if you ain't having fun? I guess I'll try this, try that, might miss, gotta find what I'm good at. I guess I look here, look there, over where am I scared, where am I at? I gotta make it in this life, whatever makes me happy, know I'm doing things right.
We got everything back in as it was. Now the rear main seal is changed. Let's see if there is any more oil leaks. This process was a little bit frightening, to have to take the engine out again and change that rear main seal. But because I already done it, it was fresh on my mind because I barely got to install it. So it wasn't that difficult to remove. It took me probably like 3 hours to remove, and I would say about 3 hours to put back in. It's not that bad, but keep in mind there are a lot of plastic parts still disassembled, so if you know what you're doing, probably you can have this engine out in like from start in like 4 hours and back in about 4 hours, complete with every single trim bit, which is quite fast compared to other cars where you have to remove the front end and stuff like that. In this case, I didn't even have to remove the radiator. It's enough space, and you can pull the whole thing with the catalytic converters still attached. I like it. I really like it. I hope that everything works fine now. Just to give us a clean look once everything runs. Let's see if everything goes well. far so good. One problem got sorted, the oil leak is gone, but still have to deal with the misfiring. In this case it's on cylinder number 8, and so I took the spark plug out and used my endoscope to see what's going on in that cylinder, if there is something weird. And I found that the injector was leaking really badly and there was a puddle of fuel in there. But that wasn't a big deal. I went and I bought a second-hand injector, installed it, and everything went well. I've also switched the charge pressure control switch to the right position, and I got rid of 2 big errors. Of course, topped it up with oil, and everything was good to go. And so we are taking it for a drive. Fluid tank, whatever that is, it's making some noise.
I can't tell if I'm filming well.
Baby,
What?
around here, not outside, because nobody cares about the outside.
Oh man. Yeah. Whatever, the road looks beautiful.
What about the car, baby?
Baby, the car's amazing. We're on the road in the beautiful car. Look at the beautiful horse. Okay, don't look at it too long. Which way do you want to go?
This one.
Okay. Beautiful horse. It feels really good.
There should be heat coming.
Okay.
If it's bleeding,
Very nice.
there should be heat coming.
Oh my gosh, baby.
That thing is still complaining.
But it's not bad.
Not that bad.
We have heat.
Yeah, not enough. Fuck, it goes so fast.
It's so easy.
It scares me.
It's not even, it doesn't even care, baby. It doesn't care about what's ahead, we do.
What do you think about it?
Oh my goodness, baby.
Right?
Glad I didn't bring my coffee. Is this what you were meaning? Why would you bring your coffee? It's a V8. What are you doing? Baby, we got 30 miles range. Wow, this is so beautiful. Look how nice this road is, though.
Yeah. There's nobody on it.
Yeah. Woo!
Look at that.
Wow. Ah, that's beautiful. They had license plates for their mailbox.
Yeah.
Old car license plates.
What do you think, baby?
Baby, I think it's incredible. I'm so freaking proud of you.
Is it a runner?
It's a runner. It wants to run.
And this makes it all worth it. But we are not done with this car. There are some other problems that need to be fixed, like the central locking doesn't work, the sunroof doesn't work, the trunk lid opens too fast, and we have to paint the rear bumper. So you like it?
Yeah, baby. I like the car. Yes. Look at, there's that little bug. He's holding on for dear life.
Do you think this could be our car for a little?
Yeah. Yeah. That's fine. That's fine. I'll deal with it. Yeah.
It's losing traction constantly.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it was flashing rear wheel drive only. As you can see, there are two errors on the dash: adaptive headlight malfunction and headlamp vertical aim control malfunction. So that means the vertical aim control module is faulty. In order to get to that control module, you have to remove the front wheel, and there is a little trapdoor to give you access to the back of the headlight. With the wheel removed, now we can remove the screws from the trapdoor and we can get access to the back of the headlight. For this step you need a little ratchet like this because you won't have access to the second screw. It's quite tight, and one of these small things will help you a lot. When removing the module, it's a little bit of a squeeze. If you tilt it just right, it comes right out. Some people like to just Dremel a little bit more into the middle bit and get the module out straight, but I don't think it's necessary. You just have to find the right angle and it will come right out. As you can see, the board is covered in corrosion. I'm using alcohol to clean it. Hopefully this will fix the issue. I don't know for sure that this is gonna work, but let's try. In order to clean the back side of it, it has to be disconnected from the plastic housing. I'm just melting those tabs away and it should come right off. On this side, it's actually a lot worse. Now I have almost zero hopes that this is gonna work, but we'll try anyway, who knows. I'm using rubbing alcohol and a soft brush. Hopefully I won't damage the board any more than it is. I'm also using 2000 grit sandpaper for the connecting points to make sure that this is not the issue. Once everything is clean and dry, it's time to connect it back into its housing. I'm melting some plastic on top of those tabs to hold it in place. And I'm also cleaning the inside of the headlight for the connection to be as good as possible. When installing back, make sure that the orientation is correct. This way you don't break the board when you try to push it in. Now with the code reader we have to see if the code goes away or we need to order a new one. But as you can see here, the code already came back, so new one it is. I only paid 50 bucks for this one, so I hope it works. Let's install it and try to code it in place and see if that works. After coding, all the codes went away and the headlight works perfectly fine. The engine runs really good now and I'm happy about that. There are still some things that need to be sorted. I still get codes for the O2 sensors. We're gonna replace that in this video. We also have to fix the central locking, the sunroof, and the rear bumper needs to be painted. But I also went ahead and purchased a second project that I'm gonna show you guys later a little bit about, and I hope you're gonna like the next one. So let's go ahead and start fixing what's wrong and finish this project. The central locking wasn't working because of the battery on the key fob, and it also had a broken fuse. I've replaced it and everything works fine. We can move now to the sunroof, where it's a little bit more of a complicated situation. We're gonna remove the electric motor that moves the sunroof and take that apart to see if it can be fixed. As it turns out, somebody did this intentionally. They scraped the board to break the connection between the positive connector and the board. I don't know why somebody would do this, but this is what we found. After seeing that, I went ahead and took the motor completely apart, checked the brushes, and everything seemed fine. Cleaned it really well and also resoldered that board to make that connection complete and reassemble the whole thing back together, hoping that this is the issue. Let's test it. It's gonna go into that.
Boop, boop. There we go.
Okay, so holding for
30 seconds.
I'm still holding.
8. Yep.
And now it does the thing.
22.
Something
Yay!
here doesn't look like it's completely happy.
It's been a while since somebody mangled it, poor thing. Bam. That's what we like to see.
And now it should work in one click. With all of that sorted, let's move to the trunk lid that opens really fast. New shocks and springs are needed, and in order to install them, the trunk liner needs to be removed. Not completely, but just enough so you have access to the springs. And with both shocks replaced, that's a job done. Now we need to move to the rear bumper that needs to be removed and repainted. In this case I did not use any screws, so it was just held in place, easy to remove. I removed the parking sensors and the rear diffuser, and now we can set it for sanding. I'm using 400 grit sanding discs. I'm doing this by hand in the first place, and then I used a drill to speed up the process. Then I cleaned everything with rubbing alcohol. The paint needs to be mixed in a particular way. Just read on the container or ask somebody that does this for a living, which I did, and I hope this is gonna be good enough. I'm really happy with the end result. It does look like it's been done professionally, which definitely wasn't, but it's good enough. Let's go ahead and install this bumper. And look at that, the paint matches somehow. I'm happy about that. Now let's move to the next problem, which is the O2 sensors that were giving me an error. So I bought new and I'm gonna replace them really quick. Also, I went ahead and changed the PCV valve because the engine was creating a little bit too much vacuum, and with the new PCV valve that was all sorted. If you were wondering how to remove the front grille of this car, you just have to grab and pull.
Ow.
Easy.
Oh. That looks nice. Much better.
Yeah?
Oh yeah.
A few days later, after driving it and sitting outside, as you can see, the car became really dirty, so now we can go ahead and start cleaning the whole car inside and out.
I wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name, check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain, I ingest, I retain, assess and I change, possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints, money, clout and fame, a disease, a plague, we all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name, all our insecurities are on display. This is war with the enemy, think that it was meant to be, living in a time where disease is on every screen, I won't let them fester me, I know most are festering, negativity is a plague for the mentally weak, no mercy, all I got is work.
As you probably guessed by now, I like puzzles very much, and these cars are pretty much giant puzzles for me, and so I'm gonna give you a quick puzzle as well. I'm leaving here a few photos of the new project. Try to guess what this car is. And leave a comment below if you guessed and how long did it take you to guess. And here we are at the end of the project with a very beautiful car. I think this car is worth all the effort I put in it. Don't you agree?
If I ever play, I want it. You know that I'm always honest. Stay away from those who are toxic. Keep them out your face, no way, you don't want it. Yeah. Don't try to drain my energy. The enemy is everything. It's mentally, unhealthily, spreading like a rare disease. But I won't let it get to me. I don't need your therapy. I can leave a legacy of leading by intensity. Come on, we can fight this. Freedom is priceless. Spread just like a virus. Living in a crisis. Do you feel courageous? Do you seek greatness? Trust me, you can take it. Go on and take your aim. Yeah. Built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I can change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em. Make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em. If you take off the gas, you can see all the healing. If the pain's in the past, move on from the grave and put your foot on the gas. No, never stop competing. Yeah.
This is a huge milestone for me and for the channel. We tackled a huge challenge here and we accomplished a lot by going in and trying everything I could. And I think there is a big lesson here and I'm gonna go ahead and continue. I already have the second project lined up and I want to thank you all for watching and following along. Please don't hesitate to leave a comment if you have any thoughts. If you dealt with something similar, I would love to hear your stories. and I hope to see you in the next one.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody